Hello, today I'm going to show you using Flash CS3 with ActionScript 2.0. I'm going to show you how to make your own Flash menu that will even put the buttons in there and do the whole 9 yards. Buttons, I mean the URL 9 yards. But the first thing you're going to want to do is I like to create 3 layers. First you want to make a layer called buttons, where basically all your buttons is going to go right here in the first frame. Then I'm going to make the second layer text. This is actually going to be the text that is on the buttons. The third layer is going to be AS for ActionScript. The ActionScript is what we're going to use to code the buttons. So let's go ahead and click here in frame 1. And actually, before we do that, what I'm going to do is change the size here. Let's just make it 180 pixels. I guess 300 pixels will work. Of course, you can do whatever you'd like to do in the situation. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this right here. Set outline to that. What we're going to do here is we are going to grab the rectangle tool. I'm going to click here in the bucket, and I'm going to make a gradient. And let's double click here, and for the sake of it, we'll make it blue. It's not going to be the prettiest looking thing. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and drag out your button any way you want. Now what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to use the gradient transform tool, and I'm going to actually just change this a little bit. I'm going to make, let's make it dark, a darker gradient like that, and click away. As you can see, this is all being done here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to modify, convert to symbol, or you can do F8. We are actually going to label this button. I'm going to call this button underscore BTN. Yeah, I know I could use a different, better naming conventions, but don't worry about it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to then double click here. Oh, that's why. Wonder why that wasn't working. Didn't have, if you notice that it's not working, make sure you have your selection tool on. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click once, and I'm going to hit F6, F6, F6. Basically, it's going into the modify, and it's basically making them into each of these a keyframe. Now what I'm going to do is for the up symbol, or the over symbol, it means when you hover over it, it's going to do something. Now, there's many things that you can do here. Now, what I like to do with my buttons is I like to go back to the gradient tool, and I just like to move the gradient up, so it basically, makes the button look all nice. Now you could change sizes, you could do different type of things here, and if you wanted something different for the down state, when you click on it, you're welcome to do that, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to get back to scene 1. Now, one of the things I learned, and if you're new to Flash and you're thinking, okay, I created all that buttons, I can duplicate it, you can do different things, but you really don't have to, because when you add the text here to this button here, which soon I'm going to be renaming that. I just had that buttons for now. But what's nice here is if I go up here, create a new layer, I can take this and from the stage here, or the library, and boom, and add it. Now these are 2 separate things, okay? Back here. These are going to be 2 separate things. So if I do something to this one, it's not going to affect this one. Now one of the things I want to do is I want to click back on the top one. We'll name this one Home, and we'll name this let's name this Google, because I'm going to link it to Google here. Okay, so click back on here. What we want to do, click on it once, so you get this, and you want to make an instance name. The instance name, this cannot be duplicated. So I like to do home_btn. Now I'm going to go and click on the Google layer. Click on that once, and we'll call this Google_btn. Okay, now as far as text goes, I can just do this real quickly. We'll click in here, we'll say that's home. And again, this is all going to be done on a single layer. We'll call this Google. Now, for the sake of time, since I'm on YouTube here, I'm not going to align them or anything, or make anything there special. So right now, if I do a Control Enter on a Windows or Command and Return on a Mac, there we go. You see, you got that hover effect. But if you click, nothing happens. So now what we're going to do is we are going to bring up the action script. Now the action script is going to be like, so when we click on it, it'll actually go to a new link. Now I cheated here and I typed this in, preemptively here, so I didn't have to go through typing all of this. But basically, this is what we named it, that instance name, and on release, we're going to start a function. And on the function, we're going to get URL, and this is where it's going to go, and this is basically telling it to open it in the same page. Now, depending on how you code websites, I like to code websites where I might have some of the sub-pages and maybe like a subfolder. You might want to just make it easy and do the whole URL. But let's say you're not like that and you just go and put everything on the same page, then you could just type in index.html or bob.html, whatever. So then what we're going to do here is I'm going to paste this again. I'm actually going to change this to Google_btn, and we're going to change this to www.google.com. Now, one thing I might change, or you might want to change, is, let's say you don't want people to leave your website and you want Google to open up in a new window. You can change self to blank. And that will basically open up a new web page on top of your existing web page. So we'll just leave that there. And one thing to take notice, if you look here, there will be a little @ symbol or a little A symbol above that. That's just a quick way of Flash telling you your code works. So we'll go ahead and test this again. I come up here and hit home. It'll open up from my YouTube page and go here. And if I come back and click on Google, there's the new page. So you can see there you go. So that being said, in a Flash, or really quickly I just did, is we created two buttons. Both buttons, when you hover over them, change in gradient and basically take you to a web page. I hope this tutorial helped. If it did, please subscribe. You're welcome to post any comments if you wish. Thank you.